Hey, DGBA, Ksavage here with Endless. Here with
It,
your DGBA Poison Point. PR is for season 14. Yeah, season 14. Um, this will be fun. We're here to trash talk your teams. Blame KHD. He gave us all these
correct,
recommendations. I'm
yeah.
pretty sure.
Always blame KHD.
Definitely blame KHD. All right. Anyway, let's get started here. At number 16, we have Dawn Myths as the average. Endless had 16. I had 15. I don't know. This team looked very odd to me. I don't even know how to describe
I
it. Like,
don't really get it, I'll be honest. There's a lot of things in this team I just don't understand.
yeah,
First one is the Sunlit Wake.
I'm not completely sure. At points, it makes me want to think it's like a Sun team. Like it wants to try to be a Sun team at a point with like Manual Sun, but
But
I, don't-
what's your setter, like Carbink?
I guess so. I don't even know if we can do it. Manually set it with a
I know I
Walking
haven't looked.
Wake or Chi-Yu if they. I don't know. But I
I
mean,
just
where there's a Terra
go ahead.
Torn, there's a way. So
That's true, if mine's broken.
something to consider. I don't know. This
Um
team's just really
this
odd to me. I don't like it. Just doesn't seem cohesive at all. Um,
Not at all, yeah.
and I know they made transactions, which
Oh wait, I did not know that.
yeah, they drop Tentacruel and pick up Torkoal, which alleviates
Oh, that helps a lot, yeah.
what I was saying. But yeah, so they don't get that till week 2 though. But with Torkoal, yeah, I feel like it's a much better team. But even then, Torkoal struggles as
Yeah.
your like only spinner. It doesn't want to be your only spinner. It really is
Yeah.
not good
That's
at it.
true. Outside of one of my major issues, which was Lando's kind of forced to rock every week because you don't want to bring a freaking Carbink very often.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you really don't want to, but
So that opens up Lando to more offensive sets, which is appreciated.
it really does. It'll be interesting. I don't know. Good luck with week 1.
One thing that,
I mean, I know you didn't really want to like have Tentacruel. Came down to it, but
yeah,
it.
I like Tentacruel, but I don't think it fits on this team at all.
No, I really don't either. I mean, you got your grounded poison and Amoonguss, your regen core.
Yeah.
Now you have an actual Sun core after your transactions, and I'd probably have ranked this a
Yep.
good bit higher if it had Torkoal on it. To be fair.
With if it's down to Torkoal, I agree. One thing, it still kind of commits one of my cardinal sins of SV, which is not drafting of Encore because there's so much stupid stuff running around this gen that that move is kind of almost a necessity on every team.
Yeah, I can get that. That's for sure. I mean, what
Yeah.
another thing is like I don't know. Iron Crown, I still don't know how I feel about it like without Terra. Like I think it's a pretty cool
I think
Terra
with
mod,
turret's
honestly.
solid. I haven't seen it do much about it.
I mean, worst case it's a decent pivot, but
Yeah. Also, weird enough, I feel like he's gonna be relying on Iron Crown defensively here, which is not where you really want to be. When stuff like flyings and psychics kind of just roast the entire team otherwise. Yeah, I'm trying not to harp too much on type weaknesses, but when Iron Crown is so pressured like that, it can't really do what it wants to do, is just click buttons and set up.
yeah, and I mean, outside of your wake, I don't know. I feel like you're gonna get ripped on here pretty hard. It's gonna be hard to position this team where you want it.
Like, I know Dominus is good enough that he can make it work, but it seems like it would. He would need to play out of his mind to make this, at least this team before the Torkoal work.
Yeah, I genuinely just feel like they're gonna get overwhelmed with hazards each game.
Yeah, for sure.
I really do. But um, anyway, that's fine. We'll move on to number 15 here. If you want to take it off for this one, go ahead.
Next, next up, we have A12, who is known for drafting weird teams, and this does not disappoint on that front.
Yeah, it's weird.
I like
I saw
Bart
the
though. I feel
first
like the
three.
start.
I saw the first three. I was really happy, and then I just like
Yeah.
fuck.
I like the first three. I like the Kirim on here. I think that pairs really well with Palafin and Masquerada.
Yeah, I don't know.
Um,
It's
well,
Screamtail is like one of my favorite Pokemon this gen for sure, and I love Meowscarada too. So to rank it this
yeah,
low was not fun to me. But like after those top three, I'm I get Kyurem this gen, but I'm not a big fan. Terratracheon's just interesting, and
weird.
it's just a weird bottom 9 or bottom 8, I guess.
Yeah, I wish he had a better Terra user. Like, I feel like Terra is such a powerful mechanic that you want such a really strong mon to abuse it, and neither of these really do that. Like,
No,
yes, there are things they can do, but both are very beatable.
yeah, I agree, but honestly, I don't know really what they would tear on this team, considering all the Terra band stuff, like the problem of
I mean,
Meowscarada,
yeah,
Palfin, and
honestly,
Kyurem.
I feel like Petrarunt is unironically the best Terra option on this team. Terra Petrarunt is demonic in my opinion.
It probably is. I think it would be a lot better than Screamtail. Like I've used Screamtail extensively this gen. I
Yeah,
normally
I would
draft around
definitely
three
have Terra as the
because
Petra over it.
I draft it almost every chance I get, and it just doesn't really need Terra to do
Yeah.
anything good.
I guess like it's not in theory. I guess it's fine, but I know it doesn't seem worth the opportunity cost.
No, I really don't think so.
Yeah, and just a general like the big thing I put on here is like low mon quality. It just a lot of these mon just aren't great, and you have to bring them sometimes or a lot of the time, which is not where the position you want to be in.
Right, and I guess my biggest thing is you're just gonna get ripped apart by ground spam. I mean, I know you have Mandibuzz, but like
Oh yeah, I had that note too. Mandibuzz, but Mandibuzz
Mandibuzz,
like
you get Jet Punch. I
it
get
can't
it, but
check the grounds that well this gen because they just punch through it because they're so strong.
like if you're facing a strong ground type with Terra, I mean, have fun.
You're in trouble, yeah.
You really are.
Yeah. And
Uh,
everybody knows this team is extremely physical. Like outside Kirim, that's like the only special presence really on this team for offense. I guess Petron kinda, but I feel like it seems just very physical, which I don't love when there's a lot of countermeasures to that, like burn, spam, or intimidating stuff like that.
yeah, and I wish there was more knockoff users for the
It's hard
fact
to
that
make
it's so
progress.
physical.
Yeah.
I mean,
Um.
I guess Palafin can go mixed every now and then, but yeah, I really don't see it. Kirim, and even Kirim, like Kirim's gonna have the matchups where it wants to go physical, and then it's like, where's your special presence at all?
Yeah. It is kind of weird. There's no steel or ground on here, but I don't actually think that hurts the team that badly because he has like stuff like Volt Absorb Lantern, which kind of can function as a ground in some senses.
Yeah, and I mean, if Screamtail
But
plays your
I
Terra,
I don't
like,
love it.
it's a really interesting steel type. Probably any week, to be fair, if it needs to be.
Yeah,
But yeah, I really don't know.
I know.
I see Tracheon getting teared most of the time
I
anyway, as an offensive option.
don't hate this team as much as I hate Don's, but at least pre-Torkoal. But I don't know. It just doesn't feel cohesive to me at all.
No, I know A12 will make it work because that's what they do.
He
But
always does, but yeah,
yeah, anyway,
yeah.
good luck A12. I'm sure you'll make it work.
Yep.
All right, number 14, we got Spoink. Sorry, Spoink. Um, I don't really know. This team's just odd to me.
It is another one that just like doesn't really click.
I like.
I think
I mean, Zapdos Wellspring's a really good 1-2 combo to start off a draft. Honestly, I like
for
that.
sure.
But I'm not sold on Bax Caliper without Terra. I mean, I know some people rate it highly. I'm not on that list. I don't rate Infernape at all this gen. The Dunsparce, I feel like
I
can be
don't hear.
taken
I think
advantage of, and Pheasantipity, like as I mean, it's niche and
you know,
cool, and I like it, but I don't know. There's a lot of niche options here that just don't blend well together.
yeah, I think Bax is fine under snow, but it really needs that defense boost to get off the setup reliably. And without the setup, you kind of just have to run band every week, which isn't bad, but it's not great.
No, it's not. But
Uh, this team is also like extremely slow. When your fastest mon is Wellspring and at 110, and it can't even run a Scarf, so like your main force speed control is what like Scarf and Fernape, which is really weak this gen.
yeah, it
Does
really
not feel
is.
great.
No, Infernape just Infernape struggles so much this gen. I hate it. I wish it was stronger.
I'm sad. I as a DP lover, I'm sad to see how far Infernape has fallen.
Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm sure Spoink will make it work. It just feels like they're gonna rely on chili reception a good bit with Slowking.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean,
And then there's a team without a steal, which is kind of weird. I don't think it's a huge deal here, but it does kind of like just that's so nice for roll compression in general. So it's kind of rough not having one.
it really is. I don't know. I feel like the Dunsparce would rather tear into a lot of other things than steel.
Yeah,
But
in my experience with Teardown Splash, you do not want to steal. Like it's just not worth it
yeah, and you're
in
locked
most
in, and you're
situations.
locked into water with Wellspring, so
Yep.
virtually you just will never have a steel type, and that can be guaranteed almost to a degree.
Yeah. I
Hmm.
don't know. I don't think this team is terrible. I just think it has some really exploitable weaknesses that opponents will take advantage of.
No, no, yeah, I agree with you. I don't think any of the teams are terrible, honestly. Just this one,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's in the bottom echelon for me compared to the rest of them, I guess.
Yeah. It also feels really linear in the way it does. Like, not a lot of these mons have like multiple things they can do.
No, I.
It's like the done kinda,
That's
but
what I'm
yeah.
saying. I feel like the Dun is gonna. I was just about to say. I feel like you're gonna be relying on like the Dun to mold this together and just like glare spam and other things to
Uh,
keep this team
that's
going.
definitely like the glue holding this team. Yeah.
But
And while I love the done, I don't know if he can carry this team.
yeah, I'm really not sure. But I mean, I guess we'll see. Anyway,
We will find out, I guess.
yeah. Good luck, Spoink. Number 13.
13, we have Soggy Doggy Sage and the Soggy Suicunes. Why don't you go first since you have this team a bit lower?
Yeah. So originally I had it a lot higher, but I'm not sure. I like Cleaver as a lead, just like a dedicated lead and die Pokemon, honestly. But I just like a better fairy this gen, and I don't really feel like your Terra options are going to want to. I mean, I guess Keldeo can do it, but at the same time, I don't know. It just feels Gudra. I'm not a big fan of Mudsdale. It just feels like you're not going to be able to position your Spectre as much as you would want to be.
I just feel like the Mon quality on this team is very low outside the top three. I guess Keldeo. But
The only reason I
it
rate
just feels like,
Keldeo is because it can go like Terra and it can flip turn into
yeah,
Spectre's
Terra helps with
checks,
that.
but like
Like,
I don't know. I'm just not
I
like a
just don't
huge fan of
understand
the
why you want to
cohesiveness of it.
grab all these mid tiers instead of like compressing it into better Mons.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I feel like this team would have been much better with a stronger dedicated fairy that could hit harder on the offensive side.
For sure, yeah. Because you need to, like, I guess Keldeo's your way of breaking down Darks for Spectria, but I know Keldeo's just so weird this gen. Terra helps, but you're gonna want Terra Zarude most games because Terra Zarude is broken. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just not sure how well Keldeo will do. I haven't really seen it do anything. I guess I'm just kind of like on the
The lack
suspect
of
of it.
spikes also kind of bugs me because Spectra loves spikes, and so is Keldeo. It just wears down everything. And sure, you got like the good rocks of like Cleavor, Mudsdale, Rachi, but I feel like the spikes would have helped a lot with just actually getting the necessary chip on a lot of things.
Yeah, I guess my thing is like it's not necessarily that you have to do it, but Cleaver is like really good as like a sash lead set, and you really don't want to be playing with like five mons down just to get rocks up and or
For
like have
sure.
1 HP with a Spectre your team.
Yeah, I absolutely agree on that.
But
I just I know I just don't think teams with like this mid tiers really work that well this gen
yeah,
with the power
honestly,
level being so high.
I'm starting to realize that. Yeah, it's like all or nothing. It's really top heavy, John.
Yeah, I just
Um,
don't like. There's just so many threats that I'm not sure how this draft checks, and that's really gonna be rough.
it's all right though, cause Ice Q. Trust,
True,
trust.
big ice cube,
But
big ice cube.
I do love the logo. Top tier. All right, on to the next one here. Number 12, we have Recon Jack, Pittsburgh Magic Guards. So I have him at number 10 and Liz at 12. Honestly, I had this team ranked even higher at one point. I don't know why, but I'm just really big on the Lottie Goldango Shifu core. It just kind of screams oddly like Gen 8 in a weird way to me.
Yeah, I don't know. Like this team, I did actually find many things like conventionally wrong with it. Like like it checks all the boxes you want to check, but like it just outside those top three, it feels so underwhelming. I guess I don't rate Terra Fundy that much when you have a Shifu that you want Terra most games.
It's just my
Like
thing is if
it
you
just feels
have
really
yeah, you have Talonflame, you have Cryogonal, you're removable. Sure, get it, great. But and
I
you
mean,
have a Goldango
it
to
seems in
block
that
it.
we can
I get
have
it,
this,
but if
but
you're gonna go that way, just they're not good removers to
dude,
begin with. So if you're gonna go that way, plan on being able to hazard stack back heavy, and you can't with this team.
in like what's this Hazard Stacker Gastro?
Yeah,
Like
Gastro's a fraud. It's just like
Gastro,
that's just means you're gonna get set up on. I don't know.
there's so many games Gastro just can't come to anymore because this bulk isn't good enough. It just gets too killed by shit. It's not great.
Yeah, I when I first like found out it was gonna get spikes and all that, I thought it was gonna be amazing, but no, it just can't. It can't compete.
We could hope, yeah. I'm sure like the top three can carry to wins because like Oh, the heck, dude, that top three is really hard to deal with.
Yeah, and I do really like
But it
Thundy,
feels like he's
Fury,
just
and
have three good mons, maybe Fundy, and then two whack mons in the last slots he has to work with. And I'm a Talonflame lover, but I don't think it fits here.
no, I'm not a big fan of it here. I don't know. I like Thunder's theory, and I think it can be really cool as a spotlight mom. But why are you not just gonna hit really hard with Shifu?
Exactly, yeah. Like you just want to break with Shifu for the Wai to clean, or like the Fundy to clean, but Shifu's gonna want to use that Terra to break, meaning that Fundy can't have it anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure Recon Jack will make it work. Um,
Yeah, I'm sure he can. I just
it's definitely a team that can
he
pop
makes I
off.
think he
It's
makes
just
some
not my
transactions,
style, I
right?
guess. Yeah, they did. They
Are you
dropped
making transactions?
Clef, Snorlax, Gastro, and Cryogonal, and they picked up Azumarill, Sandy Shocks, Vikavolt, and Wigglytuff. So they got better spikes with
Well, that
Sandy
helps a lot,
Shocks.
actually. I really like. Obviously, it's not gonna change our ranking right now, but I do like those a lot. Azu, I think fits really well on here. Sandshocks gives you like an actually viable hazard stacker,
I
which
can,
is really nice
I
with
can, I,
Golden Go.
I can respect dropping the Clef for the Wigglytuff. Goat status right there.
Yeah.
I mean, ignore the Azumarill. You don't need that thing anyway.
Dropping the mascot too is
Yeah, that's
it's
that's a big energy move.
ponies.
I would never drop Crobat if I had it. Couldn't do it.
Yeah,
Um,
like it's a fine team. It just feels kind of low powered to me.
yeah, I do like it much more after the trades, to be honest. A lot more. I think Sandy
For
Shocks
sure, I
complements
agree.
the team a good bit, and honestly, it could definitely appreciate webs at points too. I'm sure this season with the speed tiers.
But like Shifu, Latios really appreciate webs.
Yeah, for sure.
Bundy too.
All right, well, good luck, Jack. I'm sure you'll do well. We got number 11, Bobert, and the nameless team. I
We're
re-
in the.
How do you feel about this? Go ahead. I don't know.
um, I don't hate this. There's a few, like the one big vandal is like every fighting type in the game runs train on here, and that's kind of a problem because there's so many strong fightings this gen.
Yeah, I don't know. It just feels kind of gimmicky to me with the heavy snow core, and I get it can do things with snow and just veil on top of it, but and when I made this ranking, I guess I didn't appreciate Hisui and Arcanine as a Terra captain until KHD whooped my
Well,
ass with it today. So
the thing is that this team is so slow. I feel like Ogerpon's gonna have to Terra a lot to get that speed control. And then Arcanine can't use the Terra. If like Arcanine does Terra, you just have a regular Ogerpon, which you pay 22 points for, which really is not great.
no, I mean, because what
And
you need to
I don't
hold the
rate Titan. I
mask,
think that mon's terrible.
you have to hold the mask to get the boost. You don't have to Terra. You just have to hold the mask, correct, for the attack boost.
You don't have to hold a mask. You don't. Oh, Tio can hold any item.
Yeah, I know Teal can hold any item. I just didn't know if you needed to have the mask in the item slot for that boost.
No, no, you can Terra, and I don't think there's any of the masks to do anything for it anyway because it would just change its form.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like your hazard options genuinely. I think you're
I
gonna have
agree with
fun with
that too.
that, but
I really like Overquill on this team. I think it fits really well.
it does for sure. And Quack can get out of control, and obviously so can Chomp. And there's gonna be
I would say there's
matchups where
another team that like
you're not gonna have a switch into Arcanine on some matchups. I mean, that's for
there's
sure.
another team like Willow spam kind of makes life really hard because your entire offense is physical outside I guess offensive and low and Ninetales.
Hey,
So like a
don't.
way to just do that or opposing like bulk up or iron defense sets or intimidator. There's just a lot of ways to slow down this team, which I don't love.
Yeah, that's honestly really true. A fast whisper is actually gonna
Also,
give
what
us
is
team
the
trouble.
Hisui Navalug doing here? You already have a spinner.
I don't know, but that defensive stat's gonna be pretty big.
It's true.
I don't know. I don't. It's got a lot of really strong pieces. I just don't really feel like they go well together. And I feel like, as cool as Hisuian Arcanine is, like you said, you're probably gonna have to bring over Pawn as your Terra most weeks.
That's kind of my big issue is like that and like I guess you have the good priority in bullet punch and extreme speed, which helps a
Hmm.
lot. That's still, and I guess you can Terra normal to Arcanine to get that extreme speed for the speed control, which is nice. I know, I just don't think it's enough to fix the speed issue, but the top like seven is a very strong core. I think it can definitely do a lot of work.
Yeah, it is. I just feel like it's easy to prep for a strong top seven if you know that the back end's just hail.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Anyway, on to the next one. Number 10, Cheez Its, Michigan Menetrics.
So
Um,
this is the big one we had different.
yeah, well, one of the, how many did we have? We had a few, right?
This and one later were the only ones that were more than
Oh,
three
just
apart,
one
I
more?
think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you had this one quite a bit lower than me. What's your process on this one?
Honestly, I don't know.
Is
I don't
Blaziken on
hate it.
fraud
I
watch
just
for you?
don't like partially. I think this team's going to be like I feel like we have to run protect very often because there's a very large lack of speed control on this team. I guess there you have E Speed D Knight and Sucker Gambit, which is nice. But I do think Blazing have being forced to use a move on protect in most matchups is going to be a bit not ideal. You want to be able to free it up by having our forms of controlling the speed in the game. I don't know, that was kind of the biggest thing I had. Also, I feel like a lot of these monsters are gonna be forced to run boots because there's no grounded poison, and so even though you can get treads in, like if you get forced to you're gonna have to get Sinistra or Dio or Grimmsnarl or Primarina, and they really do not want to get poisoned. All four of those really hate T spikes. And yes, like treads can switch in on most T spike areas, but there are ones it can't, and those ones might be really problematically grad.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, even though this team has double typings and whatnot, I feel like this team allows Blaziken to get in pretty freely and just click Life Orb moves and Spiral.
I do like the teleport on Dio for it. That's really
The
smart.
teleport, the parting shot, the slow flip turn, AV potentially slow
This
volt
team definitely
switch.
enables Blaziken well for sure.
Yeah, that I don't know how I feel about Blaziken. I don't know that I trust it, but I feel like if a team's going to allow it to shine, this is probably a pretty decent team
If,
for it.
if Blaziken's going to do well, this is the team to do it. But I'm just hesitant on that. But this team is definitely set up to make Blaziken work.
Yeah, I don't know about Tornadus. I don't know. I felt like you could pick something a little better there. I mean, it doesn't even
I
really
don't
help that
know
much
how
with
many
speed.
points.
It's not even like that much faster than. I feel like it doesn't really help your
Let me see.
speed problem is my issue.
It does. I mean, actually, you can run Tailwind, but not really. Okay, so Tornadus costed how much? Tornadus costed. I'm just curious. Tornadus costed 2 Terra, and how much did Saintstra cost a Terra? Saintstra. Oh no, Saintstra quite a lot. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say I kind of like Terra Saintstra over Torn, but I get the way the points worked out. It didn't really work.
Yeah, that's fair. I wonder how much was Primarina to tear? Do you remember?
Probably a few. Let me look. Primarina. No, Prim was only two.
Two? That's what I thought.
That
Yeah,
probably would have been better
yeah.
option than
I
Torn.
just think having that as like a huge breaker because Prim hits so hard already. Anyway, I mean that's a nuke,
Probably yeah, but you're gonna be tearing Blaziken every game anyway. It doesn't really matter.
most likely. Yeah,
That's
I
like a
don't know.
minor nitpick. I don't know.
It's an interesting team. I think it could spiral. Hard to say.
I think this team kind of comes down to if Blaziken does work or not. It's really the centerpiece of this team.
That's why I
It's
have it in the
supported
center.
well. Yeah.
Like I just didn't know.
I
Like
mean, it's
it
fair.
has the potential to go off, but it also has the potential to just like fall flat.
Yeah, I just liked a lot of our teams better, but I do think this team is still like really solid. You just need to get your positioning right and get Blaziken set up in the right situations, which is doable.
Absolutely, yeah. All right, number 9 we have Money Guy in the Washington Whiscash.
Yep. So last one of the bomb half.
Yeah. So I had this one a good bit lower, and honestly, I think it was just Urshifu Rapid. I don't really like it. I don't think it's that great of a mon. And the bottom
I
tiers are just like I
weird.
I don't know. I feel like this team's just gonna get
I
ripped apart for the most part. Bolt Beam just
I
eats it
do like your
alive.
Shifu Rapid specifically with Dragapult. I think it's a fantastic pairing. I've seen it work in the past. Those two paired together. And while I don't think Urshifu Rapid's a great mon on its own, I think it is decently supported here with stuff like Uxie getting in as well. And Klefki slow things down for it.
That's fair. I mean, Dragapult does enable Shifu pretty well with Wisp sets and
Yeah.
whatnot.
We'll see. Normally I don't harp on speed tiers, but 142 to 101 is kind of frustrating because there's a lot of things in that range. in a lot of those things you do not want line boosting. Like modest bundle goes crazy on this team. Just
That
an example.
was a reason I have wrote down here. Is just like there's a lot of base, well, 120s and above, and even
Anything like these one
six
seventeen to
is
one forty
117.
one,
Yeah,
which
right.
is
It's
like
just gonna eat
frustrating.
alive. It's just gonna banded meow. I mean, adamant meow, adamant cinderace. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's just gonna come in and click buttons.
I will say, no, bulky wars aren't really a thing this gen. They still kind of exist. This team doesn't break them super well, which is not ideal. Like fat mons that can Terra into water will be really tough for this team to break down
Right.
as a
Yeah.
Vanoist.
That plus like
And War is a very good neutral Terra type in general.
yeah. No, it is for sure. I don't know. Triple water is interesting here when I just don't really
I don't get
think they
it.
help each other. Like, I mean, I just don't really. I don't see the
I don't
point
get the
in
point
this
of the
many.
Cloister. Cloister makes no sense here.
No, I really don't see it. I mean, if you want to tear it to have fun with Shell Smash, be niche, whatever, sure, but
Just don't run King's Rock.
right, right.
Also, Terra Omega is a cool mon, but I've been using it recently. When you have a Bear Terra, it feels like every game you're tearing the Bear Terra, and this thing is just a waste of points on your roster.
Well, that's my thing. I just feel like
It's
you could
just
have used
it
like
doesn't feel like it has a lot of matchups that are enabling it well.
you have Shifu Rapid, who I mean I get can be a good offensive mom, but like tear something defensively, give yourself some better coverage. You're gonna tear out
Unironically,
Shifu.
I feel like Terra Colossal would have been better than Terra Omega.
Yeah, I could see it in this for sure. I just
I kind of rate Terra Colossal.
I
Its
just don't know
stats
how you're
lend
ever gonna
itself to a
pick
decent rotating.
Yon Mega over Rapid.
Yeah, exactly.
I really just don't see it.
Yeah, I think the bomb needs to be reworked, but I do really like the top six. I do really like the top six, and I do think Colossal fits on this team very well, honestly. But
I
that
like
third row, just I
I
don't know.
I don't know. I guess I like it. It's just like, are you gonna be able to knock off the Rocky helmets enough? If so, if not, like, are you gonna be able to deal with your speed tier being hampered without being able to be Scarf?
Yuxi and Alolan and Muck are good knockers, to be fair.
Yeah, I just feel like they're gonna be eating and absorbing a lot of def. I feel like they're gonna have trouble
That's true.
spreading
Yeah,
it.
they're gonna be very pressured. That's what Klefki. And as a person who's drafted Klefki like 15 times this gen, you do not want it to be your primary pivots into things.
No,
It just doesn't have the raw natural bulk to take neutral hits.
power creeps a bitch. All right. Number 8, hopeless. Treasure Trails. U8 and me
Yeah, we
9.
both had this pretty much middle of the pack.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a fun, interesting team. I just don't think it does anything too overly great, but it has a lot of really strong, good pieces.
I like this team a lot, honestly. I outside the Malamar, I think every mon here is viable, which is something that I haven't been able to say for a lot of the teams so far.
Yeah, I see what you're saying there for sure. I get that.
I do
Urbombi and
wish
Whimsicott are both decent low tier fairies. I respect this gen.
I do wish there was a remover on the Terrapagos because even though Terrapagos is an amazing remover, sometimes it doesn't well run boots. And when it's your only remover, you kind of do have to run boots every game. And boots is very good on it. Don't get me wrong. But there are matchups where you're on like Chopple for after the shell is broken or leftovers on certain setup sets
It's also just really nice
for
to
other
have
items.
Silk Scarf.
Silk
Be able
Scarf
to.
is also really good on it, but he is a great remover. I mean, obviously, like it's probably the best remover in the game. But I don't know. I feel like it also likes the support, so it doesn't have to run rapid spin every game.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. This team's decent. Your fast mons are Whimsicott and Rabombi. Not the biggest powerhouses in the game, but I mean, I feel like they work still. You have two different
I think
options
they're
depending on
fine
the
on
matchup.
here.
No, they're decent.
Honestly, these are really strong webs team. These are really strong webs team. I really like Ramami on here.
It does appreciate it. And Gouging Fire can just go off. I'm also really excited to watch Hopeless use Terramew.
Gouching Fire Terrapagos is a great pairing too. I love that pairing.
Yeah, and Terramew is just going to be so fun to watch. I feel like
Yeah, that one's fun.
Hopeless is going to cook
Um,
with that for sure.
I will say there's no ice resist on this team, which is a little worrying when there's some very strong ice types running around.
Oh,
But
it's fine. It's fine. You have Dusclops.
he'll be fine. Dusclops is your bundle pivot, and like, well, I know I don't like keep bringing up bundle, but I think that mon's overrated. But anyway, but also like Kirim just clicks buttons into this team, stuff like that.
Yeah, it really does. It's
But
probably going to
overall, like
rely
I
on
think
Mew
it's
a lot
fine.
for that to be completely fair.
Like that's my one nitpick is like the lack of a nice resist, and that's not even that bad. This is a good team. This is a quite a good team in my opinion.
Yeah. Even though there is that, I feel like, yeah, with positioning, pivoting, and your natural bulk on your non-weak to
You'll
ice
be
type
fine. Yeah,
mons, yeah, you'll be fine.
yeah.
All right.
I want to know what the Malum is here for though. I'm very curious. I know it's a 1 point, but I'm so curious. I want it to come to a game and do something.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be funny if they try, I
I
guess.
doubt it will, but I hope it comes to a game.
Yeah, I really don't think it's going to come, but it would be funny to watch. I tried to force a hit on top this week already and regret it, though, so don't do it, hopeless.
Fair enough.
All right, number 7, Granky. So you had him at 6, I had him at 7. I like this team a
Yeah.
lot. And I just really think the Terra Hydraffle is going to be funny.
I am curious to see how it does. I am the biggest Dio stan in the world, so that probably biased me a little bit here, but I do really like this team
No, yeah, it's a fun team for
overall.
sure.
Yeah.
I feel like Roaring
My
Moon is actually
biggest
really good
gripe
value
with
where we have it at 16 points, so I feel like it's actually
I
pretty
agree.
fun. I
I
like
think
his
Roaring
speed
Moon is pretty
tiers.
solid at price.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It has good
One
speed
thing I
tiers. It
noticed
has
there's
good
no removal,
pivoting.
which yeah. There's no removal, which makes Iron Moth want to run boots a lot, and it really wants to run other items. Like it can run boots, but like you all be running booster or specs or scarf on this thing, especially with Terra.
Yeah,
So having to run boots a lot to not get worn down super fast is difficult.
that's fair. I don't think it's the worst
I
thing in the
I
world to,
wish
like,
the
if you
Moth was
do want to
supported
run
a little better.
Scarf or Specs, like, to just outright read it as your Terra option into a U-turn right off the rip. It's really not the
That's
worst
true.
thing in the world.
That's probably fine. That's true.
But if you're
Um,
leaving it up to, like, the debate and maybe using Hydra Apple as your bulk, it definitely does not appreciate it.
this team also commits the cardinal sin again, in my opinion, of no encore. Tinkatuff is not a real Mon. I am sorry. It is never coming.
Yeah.
It's not
um,
a real Mon.
I mean, you have fast taunt, but yeah, Encore is like the best move this gen.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but like if you're forcing your Dio into a fast taunt roll, also means you're giving up some other options like or potential offensive sets if you're trying to go more of a taunt route. Eh, I don't know. I think it's a really good team though overall,
I think it's a good
and I
team.
think the
As
top nine are all bringable, which is very nice.
there are going to be some teams that are going to struggle to deal with the speed gap and the thick bulk of a Loam Scarm. It's I can just see it now. It's going to make some teams struggle.
Sure. Skarm Aloe Hydrapple is a disgusting defensive core this gen.
Yeah, it kind of is. Aloe's really
Like if
annoying.
you're going to run a defensive core, this is how you do it.
I can agree with that. Yeah, and honestly, Mammoth it's a fun mon too. I really want to draft it this gen. I respect it.
I think for 10 it's a good price. People always overprice it, but I think for 10 this thing is very
For
viable.
10, yeah, I was considering it in the draft at one point, but yeah, I don't know. It looks like a fun mon to use, especially, yeah, I don't know. It's good value.
Yeah, just click buttons.
Also, we
Overall, like I really like this team.
yeah, I do really like it for sure. Um, all right, number 6, we have Kaif. You had him at 5. I had him at 6. I had him slightly lower. The only reason I didn't have this team up higher is just because, like, I feel like there are gonna potentially be matchups where you miss out on kills with Iron Boulder because it just misses out. And that's the only reason I didn't rank it higher because, like, I don't know, it just depends how you play your position game and what chip you're gonna get. I know there are, like, a lot of roles where Iron Boulder just needs that extra little bit of oomph that it doesn't get sometimes.
Yeah, I can see that. I only had a couple of things I didn't really like in this team. I know I keep bringing this up, but no encore again. It's just like my personal thing. I think that move is broken.
I do too.
Also another thing I don't like is that Seamus kind of wants to stack hazards to support Boulder, but you have very low knock potential to get rid of boots. So boots can be spammed pretty safely to prevent any chip, and Boulder really needs the chip to sweep.
Yeah, no, it absolutely does need the chip. It misses out on way too many kills without it.
Yeah.
But I don't
Like
know.
I don't care much about speed tiers, but 124 to 90 is a rough gap.
Yeah, you're also going to be relying on some pretty you're gonna have to get gimmicky sometimes with your items to get better pivoting. Because I mean,
for sure.
You just don't have the greatest
Also,
pivots.
Chansey and Alolan Sandslash are not real Pokemon. You cannot convince me otherwise.
Uh, yeah, but Brambleghast, damn goat. I love that mon.
I guess Alolan Sandslash under chili reception is kind of decent, but I don't think it's ever gonna come.
I genuinely think Brambleghast is one of the best low tier checks to Boulder, so I kind of respect it as a pick, and I think it fits on the team.
That was a smart pickup. I do agree with that.
But the fact that like, what are your, I mean, what moves here get like you're gonna be clicking chili reception, and you're gonna click full switch. Like, how are you gonna pivot into these threats easy? You're just gonna take so much damage, and you're not gonna bring Chansey to wish him
Yeah,
up. You're just gonna get taken advantage of if you do.
definitely. But overall, like the top eight is really strong. It's gonna be really hard to prep for.
I agree. I feel like the only way they don't lose is if they aren't. They're just gonna have to play in their positions and their pivots well, and if they can go into a game plan and how to position themselves well against their big threats, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, I just really like this team. Also, I think Hatterene is really good value for 11. I think that was a great pickup here, especially.
Oh, absolutely. It fits this team really well. Triple psychic, but all really
100%.
well. Um, yeah, I don't know. I like this team. I'm curious to see how Darkrai does.
I'm a big fan of this
I
team.
keep wanting to. I don't know. I still just hear so many mixed reactions about it. Like, hear some people say they hate it, some
I
people love
like
it.
Darkrai. I think it can't carry a team on its own, but I think it's a very good starting piece.
I do too. I think it'll do well. I'm just curious how two Mons that have like slightly fraud for like their price, Boulder and Darkrai. Some people don't rate them. I'm just curious how they do. If they do well, though, this
We'll
team's gonna
see
do
if
great.
Pipe proves that wrong then.
True. All right, number 5, Noons, Alaskan Articunos. This
This
team,
is the other team that we had a pretty big difference on.
yeah, I originally had this team a lot lower, um, but that starter core is strong.
I love the first four, and then I hate everything else. Well, I like Dancy, but I know I'm not a huge fan of this team. Well, I know I'm a huge. What am I saying? I am a huge fan, but not as much as you are. Is what I'm trying to say.
I guess I don't know. I've seen the light with Terragran. I heard the fraud alerts with Terra
Peregrine is broken. I
Necrozma not
agree.
being fast enough earlier in the gen. I completely disagree now. I think it's broken. Um, and I just think Rillaboom fits really well with this team. Cobalion, I think, is an okay steal here because I feel like Necrozma might even go steal quite a bit. So I don't think it's
Yeah.
like the worst thing in the world. Toadscroll, I know some people don't like it, but I actually really like it as a low tier spinner. I think it does decent. And
I'm torn
Dragalge
on
just
Toad Scroll. It's so weird.
and Dragalge just has matchups where it just clicks buttons and just gets away with it this gen so easily.
I really like Dragouch as a pivot this gen because it's really bulky. It does good damage. I know. The more I think about it, I do like this team a lot. I just didn't like some of the teams above it. One thing I noticed is like fairies are kind of annoying, especially like physical ones. So like in the Amorous, physical and Amorous kind of smokes this team, which is a bit rough.
Yeah,
Or
no,
like Swords Dance Valiant also goes kind of bonkers.
it's gonna be up to Necrozma on those ones, and
Yeah, but overall it's very good.
I like this team. If you just aren't careful with your prep, you're gonna get snowballed back with like weird stuff like Moltres Galar or other things. And
The
honestly,
only
for
one I don't rate on here is Toad Scroll, but everything's really good.
even like 3 point done sparse, like glare spam for this team's phenomenal if you can get it off some matchups, and you'll be able to for sure.
Necro loves having things paralyzed. That just opens it up so hard.
Yeah, it really does. It really does. And and I know you don't like Toad Scroll and it being like your spin option and stuff, but like I mean you have court change too, so like it's all right. You don't even gotta worry about spikes.
Yeah.
Like let them set it,
This
let
team
them
isn't
set
even
it
that
up
much
on you.
hazards anyway.
No, it's not.
Like Cinderace is running boots most matchups. Moltres is running boots most matchups. Altaria is probably not coming, but if it does, probably running boots. Like, and nothing else really cares that much about the hazards because you have the terrain to heal off the damage. I
Pretty
know. I don't
much.
think the lack of removal is that big of a deal on here.
No, it's really not. And honestly, I think Cinderace is fine anyway on the matchups where it might be. Yeah,
Cinderace is 14's a good price for it. I think it's really good at that price.
I like this team a lot. Yeah, it needed to be cheaper to be. It just is not as good as last gen. It's just not.
But yeah, I think it's a great team.
No,
I
yeah,
really do.
it's a really good team and they'll do great with it. I'm sure. Also, I really like
Yeah.
the logo. I don't think I've ever seen your logo before.
Oh yeah, I mean I've seen this logo a million times, but it's still very good.
I don't think I've ever noticed really. Yeah, I like it. Um, Number four, you had him at three. I had him at four. Josh and the Texas Turtwigs. This team
So we both
is,
have him very high.
yeah, this team's. I like this team a lot. Ting Lu's broken. I think Enamorus is like the strongest Terra user. I don't really think Superior is that great as one, but I don't really care because you have Enamorus.
Yeah,
I like
exactly.
it
And
as a
Amorous is
I like it
broken.
as a glare spammer on this team is what I like it as. I don't care about it
I
having
agree.
Terra at all.
I agree.
Um, yeah, no, I like this team a lot. I do wish you would have put the Terra for Superior on Raikou or Arcanine even. I don't know, something like that. Because I just don't think Serp's.
I actually think Terra Arcanine would have been really cool, or even a Rakuen. Terra Rakuen would have been interesting.
Yeah, it would actually. I didn't even think about that. Just as a pure water, that would actually be a demon.
Yeah, I really like this team. Like the one thing is, I wish you had more priority outside the E-Speed Arcanine, because E-Speed Raikou is not real, and like you do have the risk of just getting steamrolled by really fast threats. But Tinglu can generally be spec to live anything, so that helps a lot.
Yeah, I feel like a
And
rack.
Islip can live most hits too in Revenge, so
I feel like a Raccoon's actually a really good webs user on this team too.
this
Is
team loves webs. This team, I mean, you have Contrary, Enam, and Defiant Annihilate. Like this team, if the opponent does that, like Annihilate's a great spin blocker, and if they try and defog, you're punishing the hell out of them because you have three mons that get a stat boost off it.
Yeah, and you're gonna get up hazard so easy with this team. Tinglu,
That
Glimmy.
with
I mean,
Gamora, Tinglu, like you, even Fortress, like if you need to bring that, like is great there.
it has its
The
matchups
one
where it's
thing,
really good. Yeah.
a Serp, I think, is the only one that gets knocked, so your opponents can spam boots relatively safely. But I mean, if you're forcing boots, Iron Fan's not bad, and Serp is like can usually fit knock on its moveset, so I don't think that's that much of a problem.
Oh, and this team has Encore users.
I'm pretty sure it does.
Yeah,
Annihilate gets it.
that's what I'm saying. It does. Yeah, it has an
Yeah. And
Annihilate
Volbeat,
and
Terra Volbeat.
Volbeats. I love as an. I don't know.
This team just feels like an amazing Gen 9 team to me. It has breakers, it has queeners, it has pivots, has hazards, has blocking prevention of
Well, you
opposing
just have
hazards, has
such
removal. Like,
you have such good natural bulk, but like all your natural bulk can't hit so incredibly hard for the most part.
yeah, like what I legitimately like
I mean, this
barely
team
see
just
it.
hits
I think
hard.
this team is fantastic. Like I legitimately think this team is gonna be one of the best ones performance wise because it's so synergistic.
Yeah. Also, I love the Turtwig logo too. Texas Rangers logo. Love it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Gotta respect the logo game.
Yep.
Yeah. No, they're gonna have a really good season with this team. I don't doubt it at all.
I'm sure of that.
Moving on to number three, we have Gel Bell, Cooking Gambit. You had him at
On the
two.
topic of logos, this is the best logo I've ever seen in my life. I love this so much.
Yeah, this is a
It's
good
the best
logo.
thing ever.
Yeah, it's
But
really good. Um,
this and I are just a fantastic team. I mean,
yeah, I don't really know what to say about it. It has, I don't know, it just hits hard and it has really good synergy. Uh,
yeah, I agree. I My one nitpick is I do think spikes would be nice because this team really likes punishing that with those. But other than that, like, I mean, you have solid rockers like Crook and like Rockers can both do that pretty easily. And these ones only wrong like the top two don't really need that much chip to accomplish what they want to do. To be honest, they hit hard enough that they can function with very minimal chip on the opponents.
oh yeah, and especially when you have two strong fighting types like they do. Lycanroc's a fighting type. I'll go down on this hill.
Like Rock is a fighting type, I absolutely agree.
Yeah, your team's gonna. I mean, teams are gonna struggle to deal with this. I mean, they're gonna break with Sneasler, rip fairies apart. Lycanroc will come in and just spam CC and clean games up.
Yeah, I'm
'Cause
a big fan of like Rock this generation. I think it's very good.
yeah, really good speed on this team. Really good speed on this team, which
Yeah,
is a lot this gen. Goes a long way. And I like
that's
your
huge.
priority too. I really like your priority this gen. Fake Owl. You have Draining Kiss and Excel Rock's a
Yeah.
demon.
Except, I mean, even Sucker Punch like Rock comes up sometimes. And oh, Shadow Sneak Sarah Ledge too. You know,
Hmm. And Corviknight just
I guess
fits.
I wish there was a.
Corviknight's like perfect on this team. Bring it in, click U
I
turn.
guess there was a.
Bring it in and click
I
U
guess there was a
turn.
little. I wish there was a little more special offense outside bundle, but that's like a minor nitpick. Like it doesn't matter. It does not matter on this team.
No, I really don't think it does. And I don't know, Bundle not having to miss its water moves, beautiful.
It's huge, yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. This could have easily been number one team in my opinion too. I don't
It's
know.
been number
My
one, yeah.
my
I
top
really like
five
this
is
one.
like really. I'm kind of wishy washy on my top five. Where I like them.
All of the top, um, yeah, pretty much. I like my top four. My top four, I think, were very close,
Yeah,
very
you
very
had it
close.
separated in four for sure. I was like
Yeah,
struggling with that. I saw that gap and I'm like, I'm not sure. I like five of these teams really well.
that's fair. Yeah, I didn't really intend to do it like that way. It's just kind of how it worked out.
All
I
right.
guess on to team number two.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we have the Matcha Gochas, and I realize it's misspelled, so I'm gonna fix that.
Oh, it is wrong.
Matcha Gochas, which we both again have very very high. You only have a two. I have four.
I originally had this team at one.
Like I could see that honestly.
Yeah,
I wish Metagross wasn't being forced into a rocker roll every game. But like you have Samurott to stay up spikes. Who cares?
yeah, I don't even think that's as big of a deal here at all. I don't know. This team's just really hard to deal with. I'm really big on Ursaluna Blood Moon right now. I think it's my
I
favorite mon
am
in
as well. I've
draft right
been
now.
using it in our league, and he has like 11 kills in 4 weeks. This one's crazy
And then Valiant's a demon paired with Samurai. I mean, I don't
for
know.
sure.
This team's scary. Terra Thunder can pop off at any point, so can Metagross.
I really like
Serena,
Terrafundi.
Serena as your grass spinner with Queenly Majesty is actually really good for Ice Shard here. Genuinely.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I also really like Terrante. I think will be quite a few matchups where you'll want Terrante over Thunderous. I think that's fine because Terrante is really good.
Yeah, it is. It is.
We
I've
get
been
Terra
meaning to draft
normally
that.
speed, or even just Terra Fire and quick Sacred Fire, and things don't switch in. Like it two hit KOs resist banded Terra Fire, Sacred Fire with this thing. It does so much damage.
I'm assuming I didn't look because I haven't used it at this gen. I haven't really faced it, but I'm assuming it keeps eruption and that can catch people off on the special side too. With
I
Terrifier.
don't know if it does.
Oh, did it lose it?
I don't know. I'm using it right now. I don't think it's come up. I don't know if it does,
Yeah, but
but you can still like Calm Mindsets too with like a defensive Terra and like Lava Plume and stuff.
yeah, it really can. It's just a really good team. And then honestly, and 5 point Driftlim. That's just one of those mods you got to be careful with no matter what. Don't ever
Yeah,
overlook
Driftloom
it.
is always the potential of like a mirror just screwing you over on this spawn.
Especially with all like the support it can get from this team. Like this team can
Yeah,
support
it has a lot.
almost any member on its team with almost any mon on its team. It's really good.
I think really all 10 mons are bringable,
Yeah, absolutely.
which is not something I have said for many of these teams.
Yeah, I mean, even Arbok, yeah, it'll probably have a
Arbok
matchup where
has
it
games.
comes. It will.
Arbok has a game or two where it can come.
Absolutely.
Albeit he has the Valiant, which is like one of the main reasons to run Arbok is like running Payapa. Arbok is a Valiant check, but still, like it'll have its place, I'm sure.
If they have like the time to sit down and prep extensively with this team, they're gonna have some fun for sure. Like it just has so many
Oh, for sure. This
options.
team looks this team looks like a blast to use.
Yeah, dream team for sure. Absolutely. Um, yeah, I'm curious to see how they go. Also, that logo. This was my probably
Again,
favorite logo I've seen.
the top tier teams are very good logos we're noticing.
So good, so good.
Coincidence? I think not.
All right, let's go on to number one.
And our universal number one is Joash with the
This team,
post wick.
this team just functions so well out of Sun, and it does so well with Sun. And
This
Cresselia
team
is
is
just gonna
broken.
click its healing move and just dip and restart and this is gonna be a fun team to use.
This team is just broken. Like I don't know what else to say.
And having great Tusk with Hearthflame and Sun and a Terrorbolt, my God.
Like
Yeah,
literally my only nitpick is like spec is a bit of a problem with Weavile as your ghost resist, but like you have so many other ways to like deal with it to an extent. I think it's fine.
I feel like Raging Bolt can just Terra and deal with it and make it itself
True, it can just turn
it can
normal.
make it a disadvantaged normal type for itself to like take fighting hits and still just come in and just demolish a team probably.
Yeah, it's true. This team's just cracked. I really like this. I really like the Heartflame pickup with Tusk because I think having that such an amazing spinner enables Heartflame to really get around its biggest weakness, which is the only thing holding it back really is its Rock's weakness.
Yeah, and Great Tusk doesn't really care to
And
run
you
Rapid
have the
Spin
best
every
spare in the
week
game.
in the
You have
game.
the best
Yeah,
spare in the game.
exactly.
Yeah.
Honestly, 4 points too, Lilligant. That's not the worst little.
Orbital Logan is solid for sure.
I could see it popping off and have a breaking matchup, like where it does well for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like you usually go on Turbo, but Logan can theoretically have games for sure.
yeah. There's gonna be a game where Raging Bolt literally just doesn't need a Terra and just be demonic
Yep.
and watch yourself.
I do actually like the Polyraffle on this team. I'm very high on that mon this gen. I think it has a lot of unique tools and attributes that make it a solid pick for its price.
No, yeah, absolutely. It's a really good mod. It's really cool. It doesn't really mind the fire, or I mean the sun either. It just comes in and does what it needs to do. It'll help whenever it needs to
Like
come.
Sun doesn't weaken your most important move, which is Circle, bro. So
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, this team is amazing.
Really good
Like
team
I don't know
removing
what else to say.
options. Good hazard control. Good enough hazards to get up for sure. I mean, you have everything you need. I mean, literally.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
team is. I think Gengar's a bit of a fraud, but other than that, like this team is great.
I do, but for 10 points, I think it even fits on this team. Like,
It is
hell,
good
why
value
not?
for 10 points. I agree. For 10 points, it's probably fine.
Yeah. I don't know. This is my team to win it all for sure. This was like high.
I would agree
This
with that.
team was. I mean, I said any of the top five, but looking at it again, this is probably my absolute favorite, hands down.
I think this is the clear number one. Like I think the next few below it are all really strong, but I think this is the clear number one.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, and I like your logo again. Just point it out.
Yeah, good logo.
So many good logos. Um,
Good ones. Yep.
but yeah, that was your season 14 power rankings for Poison Point. Again, all KHD. He put these in order for us. Those ratings, arbitrary. He said every one of them. So yell at KHD later.
For sure. For sure.
Um, but I'm gonna head off to bed, so I'm gonna get out of here.
Have a good night, DGBA.
Yep. See you later.